Um, Good evening, everybody. For today, we have a special topic: the division of Germany after the Second World War. Also, we're going to have an exclusive interview with a person that lived this event. So, what happened was that after the Second World War, Germany was divided into four zones. This between the Allies: Great Britain, France, the US, and the Soviet Union. So there was this Potsdam Conference in 1945 that established that there would be justice among citizens and the Germans would be the ones in charge of their own nation. This with the purpose of bringing back a strong Germany so they could recover after the war. At the end, what was established was ignored, and each one of the powers started looking for their own benefit. The problems were more between the US and the Soviet Union zones, and one of the biggest problems were that um, they, they didn't know exactly how they were going to make Germany to reconstruct itself. So Western countries and the Russians had many disputes how to get an agreement. U.S. zones and Russian zones were the ones having more troubles getting to agreements, and most of the problems were focused on how and what was going to be the plan for this recovery of Germany. Western countries and Russia had many disputes on how to do this, and even though they got to an industrial plan, they didn't solve anything. The way of reconstructing Germany had become a disaster between communists and capitalists. After this, the powers involved started having negative results, but the damage was already done, and separate governments started to initiate. West Germany was set up on September 21 of 1949, and East Germany a month later. Now, with this, we give introduction to the exclusive interview with Reinhild Ackermann, that lived this period of time separated from her husband, her at the US zone and her husband at the Soviet Union one. Here we go with Eva Dietrich with the interview. Eva?
Hello, we're here with Miss Ackerman, and she's going to talk with us about her experience during the division of Berlin. Hi, Miss Ackerman.
Hi.
What did you think about the first division, the one of the four sectors?
Well, first they divided us into four sections: France, Russia, USA, and Great Britain. I would, yeah, exactly. That's Russia, and I lived in the US part, in the US side, or however you want to call it. And my husband worked in the Soviet part, and for them it was so much more radical. They couldn't go out. They couldn't they had to stay in their zone. In exchange, for us, it was different. We were it wasn't as radical. We could go out. We could cross the between the Allies side. But in the Soviet Union part, they were communism. They're communist. They were really strict about it. So my husband had to stay there for the rest of it.
How did the division of Berlin happen, and how did it affect you in the moment?
Well, at the beginning, it was something completely unexpected for me and my family. And I remember at that time, my husband was in a business trip in the Soviet Union part of Berlin. And at the beginning, the division wasn't as radical. And then they decided to build a wall, and my husband stuck himself in the other side. And we honestly didn't know when we were going to see him again.
Okay. Could you have done something to stop it?
No, I don't think there was anything I could have done to stop it, because my opinion was honestly pointless. It was my opinion against the Allies or against the Soviets. What could have I done? And I know anyone that rebelled will be killed or arrested. So we prefer to just not do anything.
How was the treatment from the soldiers in the side where you live?
Well, in my side, I was in the ally side. It wasn't as bad, honestly. I know that from all the letters that my husband sent me, he was having such a difficult time. And, well, it wasn't as bad in my side at least.
Okay. Did you have any choice in where you were going to live? Did your human rights were respected?
No, obviously not. That happened from one day to another. They decided to build a wall between the Soviets and the Allies. There was nothing we could do about it. And all the human rights that were violated were like freedom, especially for the people in the Soviet side, because they were really suppressed. So yeah, they violated a lot of human rights.
What did you think about what was happening in your life? You were in favor?
When that happened, I thought it was really sad, honestly. But especially I felt really angry against all the things that they were doing to my husband, because I know he was suffering a lot. And I was worried that one day I wouldn't see him again.
So, what was your posture in that moment? Which side did you support?
Well, I think what happened was kind of unfair because the war first divided us. Everything that happened to Germany was bad, and then they took our land from us. They decided, I divide you into two sides. You're in one side, or in the other, you can't do anything about it. So I know that at that moment I was in the Ally side because I lived in the Ally side. But I don't think now I support any of those sides. I know how many rights they violated from us. I know how many bad things they did to my husband in the Soviet part. So I don't think I have any posture, but by then I just wanted freedom in my country. I just wanted to be with my loved ones, to have some kind of peace after everything we went through since the World War II. I think everyone was over everything. We just wanted peace.
Thank you, Miss Ackerman. Now we're going to do the same with her granddaughter. Thank you.
So, besides interviewing Mrs. Ackerman, we also thought that it would be convenient to talk to someone related to her. This being her granddaughter, Agna Ackerman, that's going to tell us her opinion about the events we have been talking. So here we go with Ilse Becker with the interview. Ilse?
Hi Edna, considering what Germany did in the Second World War, do you think the measures taken by the Allies were fair and just?
I think it is a matter of perspective, and anyone from those four countries, Great Britain, France, Russia, the United States, say it was like the right thing to do, and that the German government wanted just the peace back, but back then they hurt a lot of people, and it is impossible for me, a person who knows the people that were in that period of time, to feel what my grandmother felt.
And taking into account what your grandmother had to endure, do you think the method was too harsh on Germany's population?
Definitely. I do understand why the Allies did what they did. They wanted to avoid any risk and another war. Nevertheless, the people's freedom from Germany were taken away, because from the night to the day they divided Germany into four strict sections, and not only their freedom was taken away, but their lifestyle, their everything in the way they lived changed, and they had to accept that other countries were ruling them, and they had to stick to their rules.
Do you think human rights were violated back then?
Yes, I definitely think they were violated, but they were violated. Human rights were violated with more human rights. Um, the maybe at that time the things they did seemed logical to prevent another war, but what they actually did was taking people's integrity away, and Germans just kept feeling resentment. The treatment they received, like in the four sections, were also violations from the human rights, but mainly taking their freedom away was the main human right they violated.
Which country do you think had the most influence, whether positive or negative, in Germany?
I would say the Soviet Union, because that country in specific, they had a very different ideology from Germany. They were communist, and they wanted Germans, that section, to adopt communism and the values from it, and everything the Soviet Union were to give. Germans had to live it.
Do you think this period of history changed Germany?
I surely think it changed Germany. People had a completely different way of thinking, acting, and feeling after all of this. In general, for the population, this event was a really traumatic event. Well, as I think, and I see my grandmother, the repercussions weren't only in the political system, but people socially changed. And well, I know it changed because I see it every day with my grandmother.
Do you think there are still traces of what happened back then nowadays?
I personally think that there will always be traces from what happened in that period of time. It is something Germany lived, and it is like having a visible scar, like an accident happened to you, and having present that scar will always remind you of that time. So Germany has that scar, and it will never go away.
Considering the outcome of this historical event, would you have done anything different?